This here's from the Manson cases on X from February 2nd, 2024, and it says, the connections between some of Marilyn Manson accusers and politicians is an interesting topic, and I gotta agree. Senator Rubio wrote this request for an investigation into Manson before the allegations were public. She helped Evan Rachel Wood and other accusers pass the Phoenix Act bill. Now, why would you do that? Let's just say Evan Rachel Wood and the accusers had some hardcore evidence that was really undisputable for anybody. Well, maybe then, in that case, she would say, you know what, this guy did it, you guys got the proof, let's pass this law. That would be the right thing to do, possibly. But they didn't. They had no evidence, they had their own word of mouth. Evan Rachel Wood was probably like this. I know someone at HBO, Senator. I want to make a documentary and accuse Manson, and then I could kind of be like Amber and come out and have this big thing going on. And the senator was like, oh, okay, let's try to pass a bill. Let's get that going. I'm not doing anything really. That's just my opinion, though. I wasn't actually there. Just seems like, something like that happened. So let's take a look at a little more detail. Here's the document, California State Senate. Obviously, it's pretty official. Dear Acting Attorney General Wilson and Director Wray. Obviously blacked out, multiple allegations, blacked out again in California, blacked out. The alleged victims have named Marilyn Manson, also known as Brian Warner, as the perpetrator. I asked the U.S. Department of Justice meet with the alleged victims immediately and investigate these accusations, but what in the hell are you going to investigate except their opinion on what happened 10 years ago? Their stories. There's nothing left to investigate. As a DV survivor, of course, who now advocates for victims in my role of California state legislator, I share a common trauma of emotional, psychological, and physical control at the hands of an abuser. But wait, let's figure out if it actually happened first. Victims are almost always isolated from their loved ones, making it that much more difficult to escape or come forward, which wasn't the case at all for any of them. In fact, Marilyn Manson got along with her parents and then went to Disneyland together and things like that. Or in the very least, she couldn't prove she was actually isolated. They are usually not believed or threatened to keep quiet. One of the reasons I fought for victims in my state to have more, to seek justice, and to be allowed to use evidence of psychological and abusive behavior, commonly referred to as coercive control, was because they needed additional protection to stop the abuse. So you're saying Marilyn Manson kept up on all these victims for almost 10 years with threats? He must have been pretty busy. And of course, no one recorded a conversation, nothing like that. I think Evan Rachel Wood allegedly has some emails, maybe, but I don't know if those are proven to be authentic or real or whatnot. But it's not so hard to record a phone call, which would be the best thing you could have done. But of course, nah, couldn't have thought of that. Since some of the alleged cases against Mr. Warner from California, I'm especially alarmed. Individuals who engage in this kind of abuse are often serial offenders. If these allegations are true and no investigation is undertaken, we will be failing the victims and allowing a possible perpetrator to continue abusing unsuspected victims. That must not be allowed to happen because there's so many coming out now. After these allegations from 2018, so many came out because he must be still doing it. Or he never did it and he doesn't do it and there's no one coming out now because why wouldn't they if these are all out? Thank you for your time and consideration for prompt action on this matter. I would deeply appreciate any information you may be able to share on the progress of this investigation as you move forward. Here's one other thing. Marilyn Manson's really famous, so this person, to gain more fame and more attention and more clout and more votes maybe, wanted to get involved. No, wait, that couldn't be. That would make sense. It must be. It's all real. Everything they say comes from the heart, because I was going to say they have the evidence, but I'd be wrong. And here's a picture. She looks so stern and serious. And Evan Rachel Wood also looks like she's going to break down any minute. She doesn't seem like she's putting on an act and going in front of Congress and keeping in mind the show must go on. Anyway, thank you, Lisa. This is, as she says here, pretty interesting. I remember hearing about it a little bit but very vaguely, never covered it. Whatever else comes up, yeah, let's cover. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad. We're done here for now. See you next time.